Morning, Kayla.
Hey Joe, how's it going?
Can't complain, can't complain. Nice lazy morning, just getting everything set up.
I hear you. I got my breakfast. I'm here.
I had grad school breakfast, man. Cold pizza first thing.
Best breakfast.
Hi, Melinda.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Good morning.
Beautiful day. Cold out here. Looks like everything's frosted.
Yeah, really, really frosted today.
Yeah. I look like I've fried my hair too. It's about time for another COVID cut. I'm beginning to get the whole Joker thing going on, right? Amy's been cutting my hair ever since the plague started, and it's looked great up until the last couple of weeks. I think she's going to have to go at me again. I can't hear you. You're muted, Melinda.
Yeah, my husband is my barber. He's been my barber for ever.
Ever.
Yeah. Good morning.
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 Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. How are y'all? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Doing good.
So we went and voted yesterday. We voted.
Good.
Radford has the early vote, got to stand in line and everything. It was great.
Did you go to the mall or where did you go, Jeff?
No, in Radford, we went to the registrar's office down at the
Okay.
building. Yeah.
I've been debating on trying the mall. I hear the lines aren't bad, but I don't know.
We went right in.
Yeah.
There was no one ahead of us. A couple of people came in while we did. But Radford's small.
Yeah. I have something totally in my eye. I'll be back in a minute.
I did a absentee ballot and dropped it off in person, but when you drop it off in person, you can't track. Like if it goes to the post office, you can track kind of its progress back, but you can't do it if you drop it off in person. So
Yeah, that was the beauty of this one. I mean, it went right into the voting machine. It tabulated it while I was there.
Nice, Raven. Let's get the music going, the waiting room music.
What we got this week? Where did this music come from, man?
One time we were on a training, diversity and inclusion training, and they had really nice waiting room music, and we said, we got to get this for our tutorials.
Oh, okay. I wish that it actually tickles me. It reminds me of some of the stuff that I've been reporting when I set up one track and put the next one, been building it. pretty funny. Maybe there's a career there.
That is hilarious. I started looking at Joe's picture. Like, I know Joe had on a burgundy shirt a little while ago. Now it's Joe's picture. That is hilarious.
So everyone knows we're at 48. We have pre-registered, and we usually get a couple people who come in late, but also people who won't pop in. So kind of see what it ends up. I'm kind of thinking last time like 25-ish people.
Morning, everybody.
Chris. How are you? Hi, Chris.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, good. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes.
How have you been?
Been wonderful. How have you and your family been?
Doing good, just trying to get used to this online school thing, but we're hanging in there.
Good, good. So good to see you. I like the new hair. Look at that. That's quarantine getting long.
Thank you.
I like it.
Hey, Abram, where are you? Here you are.
Are you all right? Everybody's changing. I didn't recognize you, Ari, with your hair here. Good morning, Carlos. You're doing good, buddy. That's twice this month you've been up before 10 o'clock. You go, boy.
That's really good. I'm proud of everybody already for being here this morning.
You go, Los.
Hi, Courtney. Glad you're with us too.
Good morning, Emily, Megan, Ashlyn. I didn't see y'all come in. Hi, Sydney. You're looking just like your mama in that picture. Good morning, Camille. Oh, I miss seeing your face, girl.
No, it's nice to see so many of these faces. I don't even get a chance to see them as much on a regular basis, but it's good to have everybody here this morning. I'm channeling my inner Disney today to try to give me some extra energy.
Hi, Tiffany.
What up, girl?
Thailand. Where y'all going for lunch today?
I don't even know, Dr. Hill.
Hey, Jada, didn't see you pop on. Hey, girl, how you doing? There's the ceiling fan. That's this.
Oh, Jordan's here. Now it's a party. If she was here and had her monthly meeting with me, that would even be, wow, even better.
That was shade.
What had happened was,
I know, I saw you scheduled an appointment last night. Good job.
yeah, like 3 a.m. But like I
Yeah.
scheduled it, so like
I'm not judging. I'm not judging. Just miss you.
I see Brianna Johnson. Welcome. This is her first meeting. She's a new student with us. Hello, Brianna.
Dr. Hill, I gotta take my dog outside. I'll be back.
All right. Hello, Chris. I miss your fan. It's great to see you.
You too.
I miss hanging out with you.
Yeah, being at home isn't as fun as it always seemed when we were in school. So
I know I miss you and your wisdom and your sweet little self coming in my office.
I miss being able to.
Good morning, Chrissy.
Hi.
Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're not too bummed out about the cold weather this morning. I was a little surprised when I woke up and I saw what the temperature got down to. But anyway, we're glad to have you here with us for our October Saturday session. We are glad to have you tune in, and we appreciate you waking up with us early on a Saturday morning. I know if you're anything like me, you wanted to still be asleep. So it took effort to be here, and so we appreciate that. A reminder for Talent Search seniors that are in on the call, there is an SAT workshop for you and your parents coming up on Monday. If you need any information about that, don't hesitate to reach out to Mr. Lau or Ms. Raven to ask them for follow-up information.
And excuse me. Oh, no. I'm sorry, I goofed up. That's a FAFSA workshop. I was writing about SATs at the time. And
got it. So FAFSA workshop, not SAT. For Upward Bound, remember to schedule your one-on-ones. Like Dr. Hill said, we haven't seen some faces meeting with us one-on-one. That's okay. We know it's the beginning of the school year and you're still trying to get your feet under you, but we still want to see you. So go in, sign up for your one-on-one meetings, and we look forward to working with you over the course of this academic year and getting you where you want to be in terms of your goals. For those of you who have not heard yet or have not been reading all of your emails or keeping up with them, stipends for UB are a flat either earn it or don't this academic year. So it's $40. So we have to see your face. We want to interact with you. We want you to get the support that you need from us as a program, but we also don't want to overwhelm you. So if you're only able to commit to seeing us one Saturday a month during these Saturday sessions, that is great, wonderful, terrific. If you are participating in the Spiro course with Kayla and Joe, and that's what you can commit to us, that is awesome. If you only want to do your one-on-ones every month, that works too. So wherever you need us, that's where we want to be supportive of you. If you want to be in everything, multiple things every month, we will happily look forward to seeing you there too. General reminder for seniors, speaking of the FAFSA, it is live. Fill it out, work on it now. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. Don't wait for your friends to do it. Don't wait for your parents to help you start. You can start all by yourself. And the first thing to do with that is to request your FSA ID. If you do not know what that is, Google it, FSA ID. I'll put it in the chat box for everybody. You need to have that, and the parent that is going to electronically sign your FAFSA needs to have that too. So don't wait. There are funds that colleges get to give to you as seniors, and they give it out on a first come, first serve basis based on your financial need. And most of you, because you're in Upward Bound or Talent Search, have financial need. So do not wait. Don't let money get away from you that you could have to pay for school. And you can turn in college applications too. I know some of you are already working on them. If you need any help with that, don't hesitate to reach out to your project advisor. We can review essays. We can help give you pointers and recommendations on that. And we will be also doing a senior boot camp during the December Saturday session. So there'll be more information coming out about that. And for everyone here today, you will also be getting the per diem for lunch. It's $14. So that's on top of the stipend for Upward Bound participants that you get on a monthly basis. So in addition to, not a part of. And just checking over my notes. I think that is everything I have. So I'm going to hand it over to Kayla to introduce our guest speaker for today.
Thanks, Jason. Hey, everyone. It's good to see you, or like at least see your name pop up. I know we were all like loving Dr. Melinda's energy as everyone came in. So like, I'm right there with you. Sorry if you hear that snoring, that is my dog. We are super excited to have David Andrews from Hoagie Wellness at Virginia Tech here today to talk about self-care and a little bit of mental health, because, you know, we're all kind of going through it. Feel free to have your cameras on. Like we said, like, we love seeing your faces. If you don't want your camera on, no worries. Feel free to type in the chat any questions, we'll monitor. And I would say save any questions not related to the presentation till the end, just because we'll have our small groups with our programs. But other than that, I'm gonna hand it to David.
All right. Let's see if I can share real fast. Y'all seeing that? All right. Let's see a thumbs up. We all back up so I can see you. All right. Well, thank you so much for the introduction. My name is David Andrews. I'm an associate director at Hooky Wellness at Virginia Tech. And Hooky Wellness does, as you can imagine, all things sort of health and wellness. Yeah, and so I'm excited to talk about a little bit about self-care today. We're going to kind of run through this presentation fairly quickly, but hopefully I'll leave you with a few things that are pretty helpful to you. Let me pull the chat back up. Y'all are welcome to chime in. You can put your little hand up. You can raise your hand if you got your camera on. Put something in the chat, whatever you need, and I can answer your questions as we go. All right. Cool. Just a really quick disclaimer. I am a health educator, not a counselor. So while I have worked in community-based mental health, I am not a licensed counselor in any way, shape, or form. Happy to answer questions. This is more of an educational program, and we do get a lot of referrals from counselors at Virginia Tech, but this program itself is not specifically counseling, so just know that. All right, let's just jump right into it. Stress. There's a few things to be stressed out about these days. I'm curious, what are the major stressors are y'all facing? Feel free to chat it in. School. Yeah, just in general. Families. All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's a lot of work, school. Yeah, there are a lot of things happening right now, even more than normal, I would say. So when we talk to students at Virginia Tech, which is normally what I do, the things we hear about the most are financial concerns. That could be a big one. Time, just not having enough time to do anything. Studying, school in general. That little face right there we use to show imposter syndrome. If you've never heard of imposter syndrome before, this is something that happens to students, faculty, staff, and everybody that I work with. Basically, it means you feel like that you don't belong, that maybe you shouldn't be where you are, you don't have the skill set, you don't have the knowledge or the education or whatever it is, and so you feel like everyone else knows more, is better than you. And I think we all fall into this at certain times. And that could be a real stressor. Health issues. Obviously, right now we're in a pandemic. That's a huge stressor. Sudden events, things just happening you never expected. And then, as y'all mentioned a lot, families, community, that could be a huge source of strength. It could also be the opposite sometimes. So these are just some of the many, many stressors I know that y'all are facing, that students face all the time. So I'm going to put really fast in the chat a fillable document out. Hopefully that'll work for you. Y'all are welcome to use this. You can fill it out now. You can fill it out later. It doesn't matter. But this is a self-care plan. We originally developed this for the vet school at Virginia Tech. I bet you can imagine that that's a really stressful program. They have a lot of issues around mental health because of that. And so we worked with them and developed a longer course, but out of it came the self-care plan. We've adapted it for students, undergraduate students as well. And what it does is it kind of helps us look at what's going on in our lives, how are we coping with things, and what are our self-care practices. So it's kind of a helpful tool as we go through. Again, feel free to use it. The first thing on there, if you want to use it, is looking at stressors. You just kind of check off what's stressing you out and write in. What's important to note, though, is we use this term stress all the time. Stress is not inherently a bad thing. Okay, there's really two different types of stress. There's what we call positive eustress, and then there's this more negative distress. Usually when we talk about stress, people are talking about distress, okay? Eustress, though, can be really helpful. You think about it, if you have a deadline coming up for a paper or a test, it encourages you to study. It could be, you get a job for the first time. It could be maybe a change in school or something like that, where, yeah, it's a little stressful, but it's a good kind of stress where it motivates you. Hopefully it's pretty short term. Doesn't really cause a lot of negative impacts. The distress is what we usually are talking about, and that's when we just feel like things maybe are out of our control, maybe the problems feel insurmountable. And usually this is more chronic or sort of long term. And that's what we kind of fall into. So let me just get a raise of hands. You can put up the little icon thing for a hand. If you think that this is, I'm going to put up an example. And if you think it's distress, raise your hand. If you think it's eustress, don't do anything. All right. Starting a new job or internship. And some of you know, maybe eustress. And there's really no right or wrong answer. Okay. Stay in one. Okay. Cool. Projects with deadlines. Okay. Seeing some distress popping up, or that's left over from the last one. Yeah. Anyone love budgeting or money management? That just causes me stress most of the time. Seeing some head shakes. Okay. Planning events. I mean, that can go so many different ways, right? It kind of depends on the event is usually what we hear, but that can be very stressful. It cannot. This one, I usually see people raising hands like this. Kind of depends on family. It depends on the time of year. It depends what's going on in family. There can be very, it can be eustress, it can be distress. And there's some others. Traveling is a really fun one. Most people tend to say eustress on this. But I'll give you an example. I was going to work. I was working abroad for a while. And day one, I was, eustress all the way. I'm definitely feeling the butterflies in my stomach getting off the plane, but excited, And then I realized I left all of my credit cards and debit cards on the plane. And it turned from eustress to distress really, really fast. So know that can still happen. Just because you're in distress, that can actually turn into eustress and vice versa. But what's important to know, I have roommates on here, or changes in general like that, I know it can be both. What's important to realize is that, again, stress is not inherently bad. It can be very motivating. It can, though, lead to some pretty serious problems and more chronic issues in our bodies, mentally, physically, and all of the above. And we can sort of go back and forth between those things. So what happens when we have this distress, and by stress right here, I mean distress, you can see all these different negative impacts possibly on the body. I'm guessing that you all look at this chart and have probably experienced some of these negative effects. For example, headaches, clenched jaws are pretty common. Some people feel it more in their stomach, more gastrointestinal, sort of you're clenching your stomach a lot and might have some problems there. Shaking hands, sweaty palms, all of these things can be actual physiological symptoms of stress. So we're going to talk about self-care and different strategies, but I do want to just kind of talk really briefly about mindfulness. I'm curious, has anyone heard of mindfulness before? And if so, could you maybe put in the chat, like, what is it? What is mindfulness if you've heard of it before? So I see Carlos says his teachers do it. Can you tell me what they do? Okay, so I'm seeing breathing exercises. Yep, taking time to chill and calm down. Absolutely. Yoga, drawing. Yeah, these are all great examples. Taking care of your mind. Yeah, these are all great examples of what it absolutely can be. The mindfulness is a really big term, okay? And there are a lot of things that fall under this term of mindfulness, but basically it's just about bringing your awareness to the present moment. What that means is you're not so worried about the future. You're not so worried about the past. You're not worried about all the things you have to do. You're really just focusing on what is it you're doing right here and now. So that can be what some people think of as meditation. That can be sports even, or exercise. It doesn't have to be you sitting still. You can be moving around. You can be eating. You can do all sorts of things. The importance is actually just bringing your awareness to what's happening right now. And when you have thoughts about all your worries and concerns, that's okay. Acknowledge that and just kind of put them aside for a second. Mindfulness does not mean that you have an absence of thought. That's really important to know. We think all the time, it's okay. We're going to recognize that, put it aside for a minute. So again, it's all this non-judgmental kind of look at our lives and our thoughts. We're going to practice a piece really quickly. Here in just a second. So I'll let you practice like a 5-minute thing. Really quick, just to tell you about mindfulness in general, what it does and the reason it works to help us de-stress and kind of eliminate those negative impacts on our body is it gets us out of that fight or flight response. I'm assuming you have all studied about this a bit. So, think back, way back when, or even now, we run into, something like a bear, we get into the state of panic, we have to run, we have to fight, whatever it is to survive. Well, we get into that situation a lot in our lives, even now, even when there's not a bear or something like that. And what happens is sometimes we get stuck. We get stuck in this fight or flight response, and our body starts having some really negative impacts. You can see on here everything from our cardiovascular system to our endocrine system. Breathing, our whole body can be affected when we have long-term stress happening. And mindfulness really helps get us out of that. And we see a lot of impacts, positive impacts. Now, the one thing about mindfulness is I'm going to show you a 5-minute, we're going to do a quick little exercise. And that can be really helpful. It might de-stress you, right now. But really, it's more of a long-term thing. This is a practice you need to do over time to see the full benefits. And that's true of all self-care that we're going to talk about today. If you do it once, great, it might be helpful, but it's really more about continuing to do this on a regular basis. So I thought I would share with you, or it's just, I think, 4 or 5-minute quick mindfulness activity actually on Virginia Tech that we made, just so you can kind of see campus. What you're going to do is just kind of follow along. Swathi, who's narrating this, is just going to walk you through a quick sensory practice, as we call it. And what that means is you're going to focus on what you're seeing for a minute. You're going to focus on what you're hearing, things like that. If at any time you feel uncomfortable, just stop doing it. But hopefully you'll enjoy this. So just get in a nice, comfortable spot. Sit wherever you can. Here we go. Whoop. Well, that didn't work.
This mindful campus practice is brought to you by Hokie Wellness. In this guided practice, we will be engaging some of our physical senses to feel more grounded in the present moment and connected to campus. Each of our bodies and senses are different. If you find you are unable to, or it is uncomfortable to, engage with one of the senses mentioned, please feel empowered to adapt this practice as needed. You can engage in this practice using only the audio portion if you are on the drill field, or you can complete this practice from any location while viewing the accompanying video of the real sights and sounds of the drill field. Let us begin by allowing our breath to anchor us to the present moment. Try to notice the place in your body where you most easily sense your breath. This may be the rise and fall of your chest or belly, or for some, it may be the mouth or nose, where the cool air enters and warm air leaves the body. Simply notice where your breath is most salient, and watch with curiosity a full in-breath and a full out-breath. Continue breathing naturally throughout this exercise. If your mind wanders, gently guide your awareness back to your physical senses in this present moment. When you're comfortable doing so, allow your awareness to shift to your sensation of sight. Perhaps you allow your attention to settle on a squirrel on a nearby tree. Or maybe you're examining the varying colors of the walkways. Select one object you see and silently describe it to yourself as if you're seeing it for the very first time. When you're ready to do so, I invite you to focus on one sound you can hear. Maybe your attention settles on the voice of a person walking by, or the sounds of cars driving around. Take this moment to pay special attention to one sound. With patience and curiosity, shift your awareness to your sense of touch. You may notice how the breeze feels on your skin, or the texture of the grass beneath you. Allow your attention to settle on one thing you can feel. As we shift our awareness to our sensation of smell, allow yourself to inhale deeply. Maybe your awareness sharpens on the smell of the freshly cut grass or the scent of your own clothes. Simply give yourself a moment to silently describe a scent in the air around you. Finally, as you breathe and fully experience these sensations, remind yourself that you can return to the drill field, either physically or through visual imagery, whenever you wish. When you hear the sound of the bell, make a commitment to try to bring this type of awareness to all of your activities.
All right. Well, thank you all for doing that with me. This is just an example, one example of mindfulness. I'm curious, how do you feel after that? About 5 minutes. Tired? Okay. Yeah, a lot of times people report feeling sleepy after watching that. Seeing some thumbs up. Yep. Did folks find it hard to concentrate on that the whole time? Was your mind wandering? Sorry about the cat. Yeah, it's interesting if you find that you're really tired after doing that. It might mean that you need more rest, and that's good. That's something to notice. And you notice, hey, I'm tired. Maybe I need a nap. Maybe I need to sleep some more. That's fine. Seeing them calm, more focused, and that typically is what we're going for. Sort of get us back to this present moment. Again, having thoughts is fine. We just try to let them go for a moment. Think of them like clouds or whatever helps to just say, yeah, I'll think about that here in a minute. I personally have a harder time sitting down doing mindfulness activities. I like to move. And so I often do walking mindfulness activities, especially when I'm on campus and I have to walk like 15 minutes. I'll do exactly what we just did in this film. I'll focus on one sense and just focus on that one thing. Now, if you're walking across, town or somewhere, make sure you still have your eyes open if you're focusing on another sense. But focus on, what am I hearing right now? Am I hearing dogs barking? What is it? And you don't have to think too much about it. Just acknowledge you're hearing it, and then listen for other things. So, yeah, just again, one activity. There's mindful eating where we just eat slowly and focus on our foods. There's so many different types, exercise, things like that. So hopefully enjoy just a little bit of exercise, and that kind of brings us into talking more about self-care. Now, there's a ton of fluff out there and information and bad information, I would say, about self-care. And so I kind of want to dispel some of those myths and talk about what self-care really is. And basically, run through that, but it's basically about restoring your psychological and your physical health, your mental health. And we know it can help sort of manage to some degree disease, prevent some injuries and traumas and things like that. And what we're going for is just a general overall sense of well-being, trying to enhance that the best we can. We know self-care has a lot of benefits. I'm not going to run through all the research, but just trust me that there is a lot of research backing up self-care. Some of the most interesting things that we've seen, we kind of highlighted here, but that maintaining motivation, reducing symptoms of test anxiety. So if you're someone that sometimes struggles with that, that's a really interesting thing. Just a general reduction of interpersonal stress and some negative mental health systems. Now, I'm not trying to say that self-care is a cure-all for everything, or mindfulness is even a cure-all for everything, but it has shown some benefits with this. And we also know things like increasing attention, focus, working memory, even standardized testing performance. So there's a lot of research behind engaging in self-care and specifically mindfulness. And I'm curious, when y'all are stressed out, what do you do right now to de-stress, to just deal with it? What's your go-to? You know, is it watching Netflix, or what? It could be anything. What do y'all do? So eat, sleep, listen to music. Yeah, these are all great, right? And don't think about, is it good or is it bad? Just, what is it? Petting your dog. Nice. Music. Cat cuddles. I wonder if that was the same cat I woke up with the bell. Yeah, y'all are listening to a lot of the same things I hear from students. So I'll throw up a few things on here. Again, there's so many more, but exercise, Netflix, art, music, shopping, eating, like spa day people think of. Pets, that's definitely, it's interesting. People don't usually mention that. I'm glad y'all did today, petting dogs. We actually have therapy dogs in our counseling center at Virginia Tech, and they're like the most popular thing that the counseling center has to offer. People would just come and pet the dogs and hang out with them, and it can be really, really helpful. So there's lots of different types of coping strategies out there. On your self-care plan, if you're filling this out, that's the next step. All you have to do is just check off some things that you do for your current coping strategies when you're stressed out. Check those off, add some others. And then on the back of that sheet, it breaks it down into areas of well-being. There's no standardized exactly this categories of well-being, but I like to talk about these 6: purpose, financial, physical, social, community, emotional. Basically what we're getting at is that our well-being is not just physical health. It's not just mental health. It's so much more than that. And so it's really important to kind of understand that your well-being, it has so many different dimensions to it. And on the back of your sheet, you'll see that we actually have 6 or 5 different areas. Nope, 6 different areas of well-being on here. And ideally, you would have a self-care practice that addresses each area of your well-being. Now, that doesn't always happen, and that's okay. But if you feel like, hey, socially, you're hanging out with friends, you get to see friends a lot, or you feel like that's good, you feel like you have a pretty good practice there, great. Look at some of the other areas. Right now, social can be a real challenge. I know that. But anyways, you can look at these, physical. If you're someone that exercises a lot, cool. Maybe you already have a self-care strategy, but you can try to find an area that, maybe you're not doing much in and add something. But right now on the plan, you just need to write down, what do you do in these areas so if you do exercise, you could put that under physical. If you do get to socialize with friends, you could put that under social. Don't worry too much about what category you put in. That's not the important thing. Really, it's just getting out your coping strategies so you can kind of see them. The real question, though, that we face is it what we call true self-care, right? Or is it treat yourself? Now, it is totally fine to treat yourself, okay? Do not walk out of here saying, Dave from Hokie Wellness at Virginia Tech told me I can't treat myself. That is not true one bit. You need some ice cream. You need a brownie. Eat that ice cream. Have a brownie if that's what you need right now. But what I want to get at is that true self-care, that we're going to see the long-term benefits of this. You need to kind of see, is that the practice I currently have, or is it just more treat yourself, which should be more of a one-time thing here and there? So how do you know, right? Well, here are a few questions that you need to ask yourself. Is your current self-care practice more than a reward? What I mean by that is, do you feel like you have to do something to earn that self-care? So some of y'all mentioned listening to music, or I can't remember all the things that y'all listed, exercise, whatever it is, even watching movies. Do you feel like I have to do my work first? I have to do something else before I can have this time for myself? If that's the case, then it's really not true self-care. It's just a reward for yourself. And the important thing about self-care is it's something that is scheduled into your day. This is something that you honor. That's your time. You don't have to earn it. Is it sustainable? So if you have a self-care practice, let's say people think of yoga as the quintessential like self-care practice that's out there. Some people love yoga. My wife loves yoga and she loves doing it. She finds enjoyment out of it. That's great. If you've ever tried yoga and you're like, that is not for me, I didn't like it at all. Well, that's not a sustainable practice. So even if it is great, it's not good for you, and that's fine. Same thing with running. I'm not the biggest fan of running. I try at certain times. I can never focus on the present moment. I'm always thinking about how I want to not be running. It's not the most sustainable for me, and so I have to find other things that work. Does it contribute to your overall wellness? So there are a lot of self-care practices that people think of that are really true to yourself, like, maybe eating chocolate, as people are mentioning, ice cream or things like that. And, great, but long-term, we don't want that to be our go-to, right? Because it doesn't have the best benefits overall. Jaslyn, I see you put on here, you said like, what other things? Were you asking what other self-care practices are there? Okay. Yeah, there are tons. The importance of it is not so much me saying this is good self-care and this is not, because that's not really how it works. It's really for you. So anything that you're currently doing or thinking about, if you answer affirmative to these questions that we're going through, tends to be a good self-care practice. And we can throw out some examples here in just a second to see what y'all think might fit some of these and get some different ideas. Another one is being really present. Like I talked about, running. I'm always thinking about how I want to be not running. So it's not the best. And then are you doing it for you? So there's a lot of this, like I said, fluff out there. There's a lot of this wellness craze sometimes where people want to post how they're, on social media about how well they're being or whatever it is that they're doing. And so I just want to make sure that whatever it is you're doing, that it's really good for you. It's something you enjoy, something you like doing, not just because it looks good to the world. So kind of keep that in mind. So before we talk about barriers, let me just ask y'all, what do y'all think are some strategies that maybe you're using right now that would be considered self-care for you? And it could be some of the same ones that you mentioned as coping strategies earlier. Smokers, I'm assuming you mean pets. Yeah, could be. Showering always important. But yeah, sometimes people just have that relaxing moment. Maybe that's their space that they can be in to relax. Music can definitely be a great form of self-care as well. And again, when you do these things, don't just do it when you feel like you're stressed out and you have to do it. This is something you should kind of work into your schedule, into a routine where you're doing it continuously. You don't have to earn it. Okay. Awesome. I like that, without my phone. That's a really good one. And again, when I'm walking across campus, I put my phone in my pocket intentionally and try to focus on the present moment. It can be really hard to do. Yeah, art is a really great form of self-care sometimes as well. So there's barriers. There are reasons that we don't just always engage in self-care. I get that. One is feelings of guilt or selfishness. And what I mean by this is, if you have a lot of responsibilities in your house or school or wherever, it feels like I'm being selfish for taking time for myself. Why do I get to take time and go for a run? Why do I get to just do art when there's 1,000 things that need to get done? Maybe my siblings need help. I'm supposed to support them. And that's a very valid thought. And what I encourage you to think of is, it should make you feel selfish, because ultimately it really is something that's going to help you long term. So, but I know that those feelings can pop up. But again, I haven't earned it. We talked about that. Irrelevant doesn't meeting immediate needs. This is true. I mean, sometimes self-care doesn't meet your immediate needs. It might help you feel a little bit more calm or relaxed, and maybe it does. Long term, actually, when you do this on a regular basis, is where we see the real benefit of this. So, maybe painting a picture gives you an incredible amount of joy, and that's helpful long term. Maybe it does calm you a little bit, but as you do it on a regular basis, you can see even more improvements. Not valued culturally. This is huge. So again, I work at Virginia Tech. I can think of every single department I ever work in. To some degree, there's this competition of how hard am I working? How many hours am I putting in? How much studying am I doing? How little sleep did I get? And we've got to start sort of challenging that. The opposite of hard work is not self-care. Okay, they need to go hand in hand. When you look at some of the most successful CEOs in this country, you should look at their schedule, and they'll talk sometimes about how they take time every single day for some things. Sometimes that's lunch. That is their sacred time. That is their time. Sometimes it's going for a run. There's all sorts of things that they talk about. They're still extremely hard workers, but they still take that time. Taking that time for yourself actually makes you more productive. It makes your products better sometimes. So this isn't the opposite of it. It's not like you're just, zoning out. This is something that really will be helpful for you. Don't have time. That's huge. In a longer presentation, we actually look at your schedule a little bit and look at, everything you have going on. You can't make more time, but sometimes you can be a bit more efficient. So if you're always responsible for some things that other people can step up and help you with, maybe it's, when I talk to students at Tech, if they're always the person that cleans their apartment, do they have other people that live there? Can they step up and help as well? So just kind of taking a look and examining your life a little bit to see, is there something else that I could ask for help with or get some support on? And that might open up a little bit more time. Self-care does not have to take hours and hours. So this isn't like you have to add a ton to your day, but it can be really, really important. So we asked folks on the plan to kind of think about those things. I just asked you, can you do, a little bit less of something? Can you say no to something? What might be those things? Put those down to kind of look at your thing. So, yeah, so there's a great question in the chat of, what about the barriers, like your family not giving you that time or space? That's an interesting question because, again, I work at Tech with students who aren't generally around their families. That's not one that pops up for sure. And that can be a challenge if you're not fully in control of your own schedule. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't have an answer necessarily for that. I think it's important to talk with folks, with your family, about the importance of why you want to take some time, and kind of explain that, how helpful that can be for everything like studies and just your general well-being. Maybe that's helpful. I don't know. It's going to depend on your family and that conversation, but that is a challenge for sure when you don't get to fully control your own schedule. Absolutely. And then on the back of the plan, the really thing that I want you walking away with is, if you could figure out how to adapt something that was something you've done before to cope with stress and maybe make it a more effective self-care practice, or if you want to add a self-care practice that you've heard some folks talk about today, write one of those down. I hope that you leave here today with one thing that you can do to try out over the next couple of weeks. That we find that can be really helpful. So for some of the strategies, again, having a schedule. So I really encourage you. In fact, let me just ask, have y'all thought about anything that you would do maybe a little bit differently or want to try out over the next couple of weeks? And that's a great point in the chat too. We're talking a few minutes here and there. It doesn't have to be a ton of time. Yeah. So anyone have anything that they're thinking, yeah, I might try out this strategy, or yeah. I have no idea what that means in the chat. Sorry. Cool. Yeah. So maybe trying some mindfulness outside, even going for walks. People will talk about sometimes just being able to get out for a little bit. I will say too, if there are things that your family is saying that you have to do, there's certain chores that you have to do. Maybe it's cutting the grass, whatever it is, walking the dog. You can turn that into an opportunity to try out some self-care or even some mindfulness. So it could be something that you're already doing and you just sort of adapt it a little bit. There are lots of guided meditations out there. There are some that are actually incorporate a lot of humor. Humor, I think, is a great tool because it brings your awareness back to the present moment. When you're laughing at something, laughing at jokes, I mean, you're in the present moment. You're experiencing that. You're usually not thinking about the future, the past too much. So sometimes that can be really helpful. It doesn't have to be this sterile staring at a waterfall thing. Social supports are always good to use when you can. And then ultimately is focusing on those things within your control. Like y'all talked about, there are things that are out of your control. So what are those things in your life that you do have some control over, and trying to focus on that as much as possible. Cool. Yeah, so we always encourage folks to, if they've come up with a new strategy they'd like to do, to kind of put in their calendar if they have that, or put a sticky note somewhere where they try to do that a couple times over the next week, and actually honor that time. That's the hardest thing, is if you've come up with a good idea, something you want to try, actually honor that time and make sure you know that you don't need to feel selfish for doing that. You don't need to earn it. That's going to be something that you're going to do, even if it's just 10 minutes. Cool. So I'll leave you your files with some resources, and I think we'll get these sent out to you if you'd like. But some of these are campus resources. I know y'all aren't there. There's some cool online, some TED Talks and things you can check out. There's also some interesting apps that y'all might be familiar with, such as Headspace and Shine. Those have been pretty popular. You can definitely check those out. They help sort of help you check in throughout the day with yourself, see what's going on. Just make sure that you've eaten enough, drank enough water, things like that, or exercise. So you can check those out. All right. Well, I'm happy to answer any questions if y'all have it about self-care.
Actually, are there more of the mindfulness exercises like the drill field thing? I'm zoned out pretty good. I enjoyed that. Are there more of those?
There are. So, online you can find, like I said, a ton of different ones. I'll give you really quickly. We have 3 actually that we've actually. Yeah, well, there'll be about to be 4. I was just working on one. It's a desk one. You'll hear me say it, which is unfortunate, but Swathi, who did the last one, she does 2 others on here. Let me pull up that link. I'll put them all in the chat. So these are on our YouTube channel. We originally shot some video right around when COVID started. I just shot some what we called slow video just to get some pictures of campus. It's kind of interesting and eerie because no one was around. And then we put some of the scripts to these. So the idea is that people can go to these places on campus, or really anywhere. You don't have to go to those places in particular, but have one earbud in and walk around and listen to the guided mindfulness practice and actually experience this, out there in a park or wherever you might be. So that was the general idea. So we've got the duck pond, the drill field, and Han Garden at Virginia Tech, and you are absolutely welcome to check that out. And then on that page, there will be one more. This is guided desk meditation. It's just a picture of a desk, but it's another type of meditation or mindfulness practice.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much. I hope you take, try some of this out. Hope it'll work for you.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
I have a question. What is your top 2 or 3 self-care practices that you personally engage in?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'd say my top 2, I do woodworking sort of as a hobby, and I find that to be incredibly helpful to kind of zone out and do that. Because when you're working with saws and things, you really need to be focused on what you're doing in the present moment, not be too distracted for safety reasons. And so I find that really helps focus my attention. Sports, hard to do these days, unfortunately, but playing sports is something I enjoy. It also gets me sort of in that moment. And then I have a 3-year-old daughter, so getting to play in whatever crazy world she has made up at the moment absolutely gets me in that present moment because I'm always trying to figure out what she's doing. So enjoying time with her. Those are I'd say my top things right now in the COVID world I sort of focus on.
That's cool. Well, does the staff want to share their top self-care practice, their top things that they do for self-care?
I mentioned this in the chat, but I think for me, just trying to go on a quick walk, whether it's for exercise or just for a break in my day and kind of getting outside, just doing a quick loop, whether it's with my pets, whether it's by myself, is one of the best things I've been doing for myself lately.
For me, I spend a lot of time practicing mindfulness while I'm washing the dishes or I'm practicing mindfulness. I go on a mindful walk, and I do use an app on my Spotify. It's free, and it's a nature walk. It's about 27 minutes, and it is so awesome. And then there are a lot of videos on YouTube where I will just sit and listen to the ocean. But yeah, I spend a lot of time in mindfulness and meditation.
A couple that I do that I don't think have been mentioned is one is I actually have an adult dot to dot book. And so it's one of those things that's just kind of mindless, but it gets me to focus on just like what I'm doing at the time. And it's, you know, just a silly, fun little thing. But often, like during lunch, I'll just go sit on the back porch with my dot to dot and just take a few minutes to just kind of breathe and stress and just get my minds. It helps me focus instead of all the, you know, they call it monkey chatter, you know, like the monkey noise in your brain that gets you all stressed. And so that's one. And baking, I do a lot of baking. That's why I had brownies for breakfast, is because I decided to make pumpkin cheesecake brownies last night at like 10 o'clock. And so just for whatever reason, you know, it's not always the healthiest depending on what you make, but it is something that gets me to just kind of like put it aside, and then you have something enjoyable, you know, at the end.
What about the guys?
I got a new bass, man. I got a new bass, and it's been very relaxing. It's a cheap indie. A friend of mine, ended up trading stuff. And anyway, he got it set right. The neck plays smooth. It's a big old bass. I haven't played bass since high school, and I'm just loving life.
I walk my dogs. They have a lot of energy. They're little 10-pound little things. So getting them out, taking them on a walk really helps get energy out for them, but also gets me out of the house fairly regularly. And then trying to exercise at home more. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think the important thing about that, when thinking about fitness, if you have fitness goals for yourself, think about it as a daily challenge. If you're not successful one day, there's always tomorrow. So try not to beat yourself up too much. There are points where I'm good, and then I'm going a few days in a row. Sometimes I can stretch that into a week or two. Other times it's enough for me to get one good day in, and then sometimes there's a little bit of a gap. But keep plugging away.
So I typically do fitness classes like cycling or stuff like body pump. Now with COVID, I just go for a walk. And if I'm indoors, I have my own karaoke night by myself. How lonely am I?
I play Xbox. That's my form of self-care. But I also love just lighting candles in my room, have the lights dimmed, and just either watching TV or just something fun, you know, just to kind of like unwind from the day.
That's cool. I like being in the kitchen too. As y'all know, I love to eat. I love food. So like cooking and baking and stuff. I love music, listening to music. I was looking in the chat that we had, and somebody mentioned an app called Youper. I also use like the Calm app for times when I'm feeling like anxious or like stressed out. I'll set a timer, or I'll listen to ocean sounds because I love the beach and like being around anything that has to do with the beach and the ocean. Aromatherapy, lighting candles, all that good stuff. And so can we hear from some students? We hope that, you know, the staff and Mr. David sharing some self-care practices have kind of like given you all some ideas of what you think you all could practice at home, like free things, 5-minute things. You can unmute your mic or type them into the chat box.
I just vibe in Kayla's Sphero class.
Thanks, Ari. It's a good, like Joe said, freedom through robots. We have fun.
I see Carlos said, I balanced my chakras. If you can you explain to the group what chakras are or what a chakra is for those who don't know? What are chakras? Can somebody let me know? We got watching TV or exercising, listening to music, get on the PS4, jogging and walking every day. There's another
So I've
app.
seen there's a lot of great strategies. I will offer some caution on like TikTok and social media and stuff. I'm not trying to say that that can't be, you know, taking time for yourself and using that is okay. Do be careful you just don't get sucked in and kind of spiral down the hole because then you sort of get into this just zoned out rather than focus on that present moment. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, not saying it's good or bad. It's just something to keep in mind that really want to get ourselves in the moment of what's going on, not completely disconnected from the world.
Yeah, Alicia, chakras has to do with energy in your body. We are all energy and getting that energy to align.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know you brought you some stones before, so yeah, that's kind of right
Okay,
along the same lines of the stones.
okay.
Yeah. And so if you've ever walked in a room or somebody walked in the room and it's like something went dark, everybody is energy. And so chakras talk about aligning your energy and they're all along your spine. Yeah, YouTube videos too. You just listen, it aligns your chakras.
I might have to do some research.
They're also related to neural ganglia up and down the spine. So it's actually a physical thing. And that mindfully connecting the energy relaxes your whole body and releases it. Allows for some pretty amazing insights as well if you can actually get to the third eye.
Wasn't it Professor Bars at Stanford that made some of the most like significant contributions with neuroganglia?
I don't remember. That wasn't really what I studied. I was more perception, but yeah, maybe. Sounds like it's Stanford. I mean, a lot of people were doing cool stuff there. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, I definitely want to say thank you to David. I know that I needed this presentation, my staff needed it, our students needed it. It was really great hearing. If anybody after this has any questions and wants me to connect you with David, just reach out. He's going to hop off while we do our virtual tour of ODU, but thank you so much for being here on a Saturday morning. We definitely really appreciate it.
Thank y'all very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right. Also, just some things in the chat. I totally hear you, Ari, Megan, about wanting more group activities. I think we noted. I hear you. It's on my agenda to bring up in our staff meeting. Definitely something if you guys are interested in it.
And I'd say too, that's something we realized for summer that we didn't have as much of that built in that we normally would. So I think it's on our radar. We just have to figure out the best way to make it happen. So thank you for getting that back in the forefront to us again. We'll definitely see if we can find some ways, because that's one of the things that's most fun about normally doing these, right? Is you get to come to campus and go to lunch in Owens or D2. And in addition to all the stuff like this that we're doing, you still have time to hang out and chat with people and meet new friends. And so we got to figure out a way to make that happen again. So thank you for bringing that back up. We'll definitely see what we can come up with.
Does anyone have any final thoughts on mindfulness, self-care before we jump into our virtual tour? I'm writing down all your ideas for group activities, don't worry. All right, Dr. Melinda, take it away.
All right, so we are going to be taking a tour of Old Dominion University. I remember we went to ODU maybe a year or so ago on a junior trip. And when I think of Upward Bound trips, it was one of the best trips. I saw Laura, she's on this call here, Laura and the girls, and it was just such an amazing time. And so we got to stay at the beach. And during that junior tour, we went to ODU and William and Mary, and we had just such a good time. And so the tour that we're going to take today, it's really fresh in my mind because we just did it, but it's really a good tour. It's really a good virtual tour. You know, we don't have the bus today, and we don't have the eating in the dining hall today and eating 7-course meals when we're only supposed to be like eating one. It's a different person come out of me when we go on these tours. I just go bonkers with the food. So we're not getting to do that, but this is really a good representation of ODU. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through the tour here. All right, so screen share. Is everybody hearing me okay? The volume's okay? All right. So I'm going to share, optimize, and I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to do this, and it'll start right away. So I didn't want to bring it up because it starts right away. All right, here we go.
Welcome to Old Dominion University, where student success is at the heart of the Monarch experience. Our 250-acre campus in Norfolk, Virginia is home to approximately 25,000 undergraduates, graduate students, and international students. Our location in the coastal region of Virginia allows for serious study and play, and we're excited to share a bit about both with you during your virtual tour. Before we get started, let me explain the many ways you can explore our beautiful space. You can click on the forward-facing arrow to start walking around. You can jump to the next stop by clicking on the next button. If you already know where you want to go, you can select any location by using the list or by clicking directly on the map. Lastly, remember you can explore any location in more detail by clicking the supplemental content. The Webb University Center, ODU's student union, houses career development services, the Center for Major Exploration, student health services, and several food outlets, meeting spaces, and lounges. Just outside is Kaufman Mall, where you'll find our iconic 6-foot-high lion fountain. The Bronze Monarch, designed by alumnus and adjunct faculty member Kevin Gallup, sits atop a platform in the university fountain, where the water flows blue at homecoming and graduation. In the center of Kaufman Mall is the University Seal, commemorating our institutional founding. Students are warned not to tread upon it if they want to graduate. Kaufman Mall is also a favorite gathering spot for warm weather fun and tailgating.
So here's some events. When we visited ODU, They were setting up for an event here in Kaufman Mall. And we got a chance to take a look at the seal there. And they said, do not step on the seal, because if you step on the seal prior to graduation, they say you won't graduate. So that's what she's talking about there. And so when we were there that day, they were setting up for an outside event, and it was, the energy was charged. And so I can very well remember walking this.
Constant Hall serves as the hub for the Strome College of Business at Old Dominion University. In addition to the Greg Lumsden Trading Room, with its 24 Bloomberg terminals, Constant Hall boasts 2 full-size lecture halls and 19 other classrooms equipped with powerful media and display capabilities. Adjacent to Constant Hall is the Strome Entrepreneurial Center, the result of an $11 million gift to ODU from the Strome Family Foundation. Since its opening, the center has helped provide an innovative co-curricular program empowering ODU students from all programs of study to launch and expand their own businesses.
So here's some classrooms here. See, I didn't want to touch it because it does that. Oh, man. All right.
Welcome to Old Dominion University, where student success is at the Webb University. Constant Hall Dragus Hall, a multi-purpose facility, is home to the International Office of Admissions, the English Language Center, and the Office of Study Abroad. Monarchs enjoy a number of varied and enriching opportunities to study abroad as part of their academic program. Approved courses taken overseas are fully transferable to meet major, minor, or general education requirements. Exclusive to incoming freshmen is our first-year experience abroad. Participating students travel to Greece with faculty members and earn general education credits in just 2 weeks.
So here's inside of the hall here.
ODU's College of Health Sciences is one of our most competitive academic colleges. Students in these programs are provided with the best training and hands-on experience possible through clinical requirements and volunteer opportunities with regional healthcare providers. With pass rates for licensure in the top percentiles in the nation, the College of Health Sciences has gained both a national and international reputation for its research and preparation of future health professionals.
So they have a School of Nursing, School of Dental Hygiene,
Located just across Hampton Boulevard along Monarch Way is the University Village and ODU's Arts District. The village includes fully furnished 1, 2, and 4-bedroom apartments for upperclassmen and transfer students. It also boasts several restaurants, coffee houses, the University Village bookstore, art galleries, the Good Theater, and the Barry Arts Building. The Arts Building features studios, labs, and the Hofheimer Art Library, with 10,000 volumes on architecture, sculpture, print media, and more.
So if you're interested in the arts, so we talked about studio art. So if you're an artist, there is a place for you at ODU. They have graphic design, ceramics, looks like a nice place to study. And here's their transit to get around campus. All right, so let's do a little bit more walking. Now, they would like for you to stop in the middle of a tour and request some information or apply online or learn more. That's just marketing and advertising. They're just doing their job. We're going to keep walking. I don't know if you can get a feel, but the campus is on two sides of the street. It's a nice sized campus.
The Darden College of Education is nationally recognized for preparing students to be education, industry, and clinical service professionals. With 5 floors and 120,000 square feet, the building provides high-tech amenities, collaborative space, a 2-story high multi-purpose auditorium, 9 laboratories for STEM and industrial technology programs, and a resource room dedicated to student advising. Directly across Hampton Boulevard from the Education Building is the Ted Constant Convocation Center, home to ODU basketball, concerts, lecture series, special events, freshman convocation, and graduation. The TED, an independently owned and run venue, is an area attraction we're lucky enough to have located on our campus.
So they have a lot going on at ODU. They have their own theater district, their own convocation center. And that's at night. You can see how ODU sits on the corner, but then you can see in the back that looks like the field. So it covers a lot. They have a nice sized campus.
This 4-story building contains more than 1.5 million print items and provides students access to a number of other resources, including 300 computers, an interlibrary loan system, and librarians for each academic college. The Learning Commons creates a collaborative environment, allowing students to rearrange furniture and reserve rooms specified for group work and presentations. Students can also receive help from Student Support Services, located in the back of the library, with the Office of Educational Accessibility, the Military Connection Center, the Writing Center, and free tutoring.
So here are their Learning Commons. A lot of times on college campuses, you can schedule time in these rooms where you can work together in your small groups. So here's the outside of the library. I remember going through the library and everybody leaving me. I got lost in the library. Okay. And the walking tour.
ODU's engineering programs are housed in 3 buildings: Kaufman Hall, E.V. Williams Engineering and Computational Sciences Building, and our newest addition, the Engineering Systems Building, ESB. The ESB's design reflects changes in engineering teaching methods that go well beyond the classroom. Increased collaboration space, biomedical engineering, laser and plasma labs are just a few of the building's assets. With innovative learning spaces and an abundance of research opportunities for students, it's no surprise ODU produces the second largest percentage of science, technology, engineering, math, and health sciences STEM-H graduates in the state of Virginia.
So if you're interested in robotics and you're in high school on the robotics team, shout out to my robotics team members. They still have this at Old Dominion. And a lot of times here in this area, students will go to Virginia Western for 2 years and do the mechatronics program, and then they will transfer to Old Dominion.
The science.
And they're really good with their advertising.
Science Corner is home to our College of Sciences. The Oceanography and Physical Sciences building features the iconic Omni Globe in its lobby. The globe's interactive surface displays various maps of the world. This area is also where you'll find our Pretzelow Planetarium and Kaplan Orchid Conservatory. Beyond the campus, our faculty and students explore the waterways on our own research boat, the RV Face Lover.
Here's their Omni Globe. I remember walking across this bridge here. All right, let's keep going.
Five of ODU's residence halls are located in the quad. Most offer double or triple rooms with a shared bath. All quad residences are conveniently located near Webb Center, the POD Market and Dominion House, the Broderick Dining Commons, and the Student Recreation Center, SRC. The SRC boasts 15,000 square feet of exercise space, including basketball courts, group exercise classes, cross-fitness training, a 2-story rock climbing wall, and a swimming pool. You can also rent equipment like bikes and canoes or participate in one of our many intramural sports.
All right, so here's their quad, their community lounge, their residence hall. They kind of look the same a lot of places. A lot of places we go, that's standard. A nice pool, rock climbing. All right, let's see what else they have for us to. Some community study areas look like. Okay. And if you're into working out and that's important for your physical and mental health, they have a state-of-the-art workout facility. Nice. And more living. Huh. Looks like you can see right in the hallway. I don't know about that room there. Unless that's looking into another. That
It's probably a sample room, I bet.
Okay. Yeah, because that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's a sample room.
It's gotta be. Oh boy. All right.
ODU's Kate and John R. Broderick Dining Commons is a 39,000 square foot, state-of-the-art, leadership in energy and environmental design gold certified freestanding dining hall. This building was named for our president and first lady at the request of student leaders, in recognition of their efforts spearheading inclusion and student success. With 8 dining options, the Commons provides a restaurant-style environment while creating a strong sense of community for students, faculty, and staff. Everything is made fresh on site, and meals are prepared to order. Options include Bud's American Classics, May's South American Kitchen, Evo Italian Cuisine, Rice Sticks Asian Kitchen, Uno Mas Fresh Mexican Flavors, Mosaic International, and 350 Degrees Baked Goods.
Now, when we went to ODU, we did not eat in the main dining hall. However, they were having, like I said, some Friday activities, and I think they were doing a little bit of some of their fraternities and sororities were doing some step in, and our students were really excited. So that was in the main dining hall, but we ate at Chick-fil-A in one of the 8 different dining areas. So I don't remember seeing this here because we ate in one of the outer restaurants. Okay. So we went in April. The weather was very nice for our tour. Wasn't too hot.
ODU's College of Arts and Letters music department and dance programs find their home in the Dean Fine and Performing Arts Center. This impressive facility includes recital halls, dance studios, recording studios, and a composer's library. Additionally, the F. Ludwig Dean Composer's Room provides students with services and resources related to musical collections held by ODU libraries.
So if you're into theater, ODU has something for you.
In 2009, we added football to our NCAA Division I athletic roster. And in 2013, the team joined Conference USA. Since we've welcomed the program back, the community's alums and students alike fill the SB Ballard Stadium seats. And in 2016, the team brought home its first bowl title, claiming victory in the Bahamas Bowl.
Okay. Looks like they have a very large stadium. A lot of excitement with the football games. So as you're spending time on the weekends, looks like you always have something to do. Nice size basketball arena. I see they're playing VCU. We toured them last month. And they have women's basketball, or if you're a wrestler. Baseball. FIU, when we were on this tour, we went to the National College Fair. No, that was last year in DC. A lot of students picked up information from FIU. They are playing Howard University. Oh, they have women's golf. Interesting. Nice. Tennis. And if we have any sailors.
Whitehurst Hall consists of two six-story towers overlooking the Elizabeth River. This prime waterfront residence shares its Whitehurst beach shorelines with ODU Sailing Center, home to our award-winning sailing team. A favorite place for student organizations and individuals, the beach is where you can catch a game of volleyball, challenge yourself on our newest low ropes course, grill a burger, or string up your hammock and relax. Enjoy the sunset from these campus landmarks.
I think that's amazing that you have the opportunities to live on the water while you're in college. All right, so there you go. There's Old Dominion University. Raise your hand if ODU is one of the schools on your list of colleges. Okay, Taz. All right, I see some hands here. All right, Christopher. I can't see who this is behind me. Okay. I think one of a really good practice, and what I have my students do is for my seniors by December break, by the time we leave for Christmas break, I would like for my students to have applied to 4 schools. And I know I met with one student here this month, and that student may have put ODU on the list, and ODU is about 4 hours away. So when you're looking at colleges, you gotta, and if you were in the summer program, you did a research project, the whole class did a research project about colleges. College Fit is 4 hours a good distance for you and your family. So you want to keep those things in mind. Of course, do they have your major? And ODU is a school, they have a lot of majors. What's one thing that stood out for you about the ODU tour? For me, it was the opportunity to live on the water, because that's my favorite place in the world. Anybody else? unmute yourself, and what was one thing that stood out for you in this tour? Ooh, the theater. Yes, absolutely, Taz. Yes. Okay. Unmute. You can unmute yourself and engage in the conversation, please. It's a lot of chat. I mean, a lot of things down here. But you can unmute yourself. Go ahead, Christopher. What's one thing? It's a couple of pages, so just unmute yourself and say something. What's one thing you took away from the tour? Okay.
I would say the water was really beautiful. I like the water.
Yeah. Nice. A lot of schools don't have a sailing team, so it's really nice if that's I don't see a lot of sailing teams, so that was really interesting. Anybody else? Something that stood out for you about ODU, like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I might put that school on my list. Anybody put ODU on the list today? Yay, good. Trinity and Chris, good. Yeah, so that's what Upward Bound is about. You know, we want you to add to your list. Yes, Victoria, great, great, great. Lucas, thank you. Yes, you putting it on your list. Good. Oh, Megan says it's already been on her list. Absolutely. Anybody else? Did you add ODU to your list today? Okay, top 5. Yes. They also have what's called student support services. And because you are in the Upward Bound program, student support services, it's like we pass a baton. We help you in high school. We pass the baton to student support services, and they help you while you're in college. So if you need tutoring, or if you need help with navigating such a large campus, because it's really nice and it's really big, student support services will help you navigate college. I worked for student support services at another school, and we help with early registration. We helped with free tutoring. We helped with counseling, just helping students getting adjusted to college life. So that's a free service, just like Upward Bound, and you would be eligible for that assistance as you go on to the 4-year making that journey. All right, any questions about ODU? Anybody? Cool. Just a little bit about when I'm meeting with students and how does this all relate? You know, Upward Bound is college related. That's why you're here. We're trying to help you get to college. But what we're going through right now, I think sometimes with the online learning and with the pandemic, the college can get kind of out of the focus. But just like your grades are your currency, that's your money to get you into college. And so even though we're going through a rough time, and a lot of students right now are struggling, you know, with the grades, some people aren't, but some are. Just try to keep that in the forefront of your mind. Get on this, it's called You Visit these colleges, and keep your goals right here in the forefront of your mind. Because when I went through this tour this week, I got excited. I'm almost 50. I'm not going to college, but I still got excited when I was going through this tour. I had been there before. It wasn't new to me, but when I watched it, I was excited. So even though we might be going through a rough time, keep your goals right here in front of you. Get on You Visit. Go through these tours. We'll talk this year about having a vision board. Keep your vision right here in front of you. And if you're going to practice mindfulness, like visualize where you want to be, and don't let your present situation right now, what we're going through in a pandemic, just be the guiding force of what you're doing every day. Keep your goals right in front of you, because we have to be resilient in this time that we're living in. And being resilient means being a diamond. You have to shine through your grind. And right now we are grinding. It's hard. It's tough to do the online learning, but you be a diamond and shine through this grind. And so resiliency is the capacity to cope with stress and adversity. And so today we really want to give you some tools to help you with the mindfulness and with your self-care plan, that you can get through this. You will get through this. And it's resiliency is choice and it's pressure, but you will shine like a diamond as you come through this. And we weren't born to be resilient. It's just something that we have to practice. And I tell you, the pandemic is helping us practice, but keep your goals right here in front of you. Get on YouVisit. If you have your glasses from the summer, do the virtual reality tours and get caught up in your future. Get on these campuses and get excited about where you're going in your life. That's all I got for today. But I hope that was fun, because it was fun for me.
Thank you, Dr. Melinda. I loved it. I know if I was in high school, it probably would have been on my list, because that 4-hour gap was really good for me. My school was 4 hours. It gave me a sense of freedom, but I was really close to home that I could still go if I needed to. So it was super great.
But one thing I didn't say, Jason, he did the tour for us. He did all the agendas. Virginia Beach is really close. Like, if you love the water, I'm telling you, for me, the beach is everything. It is life. The beach is less than 30 minutes away from ODU, like way less than 30 minutes. So if you like the water, oh, yes, ODU.
Well, depending on traffic.
True that. Don't try to go at 5.
It's not that far, but the traffic can take you 30 minutes. I grew up across the bay, right in the
exactly. And that's one thing when we were on this tour and we kind of got stuck in traffic. I asked the students, I say, you guys, you see we're sitting in traffic. This is a larger city. It's not a Blacksburg. And so you get to decide, do I want to be in a larger city where I could get stuck in traffic versus somewhere like Roanoke or Franklin or Blacksburg where we don't have a lot of traffic. And so for me, a deciding factor is, do I want to be in a large area where we can get anywhere in 15 minutes in Roanoke? But if you're going to go to a place like Norfolk, traffic.
You get used to it. You plan it into your schedule. You just
do.
Part of life, and it's part of what you do. And so
absolutely.
And yeah. And you make use of it. If you know you're going to be stuck in traffic, some of those mindfulness techniques, you can listen to an audio book, you can do a podcast. There are all sorts of things you can do to make good use of that time too. So it's just something that you build into it. But yeah, the beach is really close. And there's nothing like watching the 4th of July fireworks like over the water. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. ODU, when I was going to college, ODU and VCU, because I was going into dental hygiene, those were my top 2. So that's really cool that we did both of those our first two Saturday sessions. But I hope y'all got some out of that.
Where are we going to next?
I know.
Where do you guys want to go? Put in the chat.
Yeah, if y'all have places that you want to see for our next tutorial, pop it in the chat and we can see if it's on YouVisit.
UVA.
We will get UVA. Awesome.
What's OSU?
The Ohio State.
Perfect. Love all this. Yeah, it's really good for us to hear from you guys about where you want to go, rather than us taking a guess. So this is great. The last thing that we have for everyone is to just go into our breakout rooms for our program. I've set everybody between 10 Talent Surge, UB Southwest, Roanoke, and Salem. So when I click open all rooms, you'll get a notification to join the breakout room with your group. We'll just go over some quick updates since we'll have you all together. Other than that, on behalf of the staff, we probably won't reconvene. So just on behalf of the staff, thank you for coming this weekend, this morning. We know that it's not always easy. And so it's good to see you all. I'm going to open the breakout rooms and we're going to cross our fingers that you are in the right room. If not, just tell the advisor that you got to switch and they'll let me know. Here we go.
Hello, Raven and Abram.
Hello.
Abram, how in the world are you, buddy?
I've been, oh my God, my goodness. I've got to tell y'all what's been going on. So like, I talked to my mom and she was like, we gotta be serious about everything. And I was like, yeah, I know. So I've applied to, I gotta look for Radford, Liberty, Wingate, working on Norfolk, but there's these two, but the big thing that everybody's talking about is I don't want to go to college in America anymore because I'm just and I'm doing music. Why am I basing myself
Buddy, they won't let you out of the country.
No.
You're not going nowhere.
I found these two colleges. There's this one in London. Well, it's not really a college, it's more of an institute, but I found this one in London. It's called SAE. I stay there for 2 years. The tuition is $17K tops. And I learn everything from music engineering, from producing to how to learn certain DAWs and from that stuff. And it's a little thing. It's a really small thing.
Okay, all right. That doesn't sound terrible, actually. But it's a 2-year deal, like it's an associate's degree there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you looking at here?
I was looking at.
Hi, everybody else. Turn your cameras on, folks.
I was looking at I was looking at ODU, but I went there with my mom, and it's not for me personally. It's a great school, but just not for me. Norfolk, still, I just opened up to Radford. I just opened up to Liberty too. I don't know why I opened up to Liberty, but I did.
You don't want to go to Liberty.
I know I don't. I looked at Lenore Rhine. I don't know why. It's just an option. I'm just looking at options. I'm just kind of stalling.
Hey, Raven, what happened to Jocelyn? Did Star go away?
She had to leave early today.
She had to leave. She has work, right? Too bad. I want to see you. Abram, tomorrow or Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You need to come to the
Yeah, I got it on my calendar, the FAFSA. I got it.
Have you gone and updated your information? Have all of you gone and updated your information?
I remember
with the Qualtrics survey thing where you type in your name and get
Trinity, aren't you UB Southwest?
I got transferred back to
Yeah,
town.
she got sent to our dungeon for a while until she gets her grades up, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've been struggling very bad.
Are you working hard this semester, Trinity?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. How is it? You doing all right?
No.
No. Well, looky here. I mean, it's a crazy world, but at least the mindfulness thing was nice today. But it's like, weirdly enough, my stress has changed. It's not that I have any stress. I don't have a schedule really anymore unless we have a meeting, right? But at the same time, I don't get to see anyone. I don't get to interact with anyone. And hey, I'm not always my own best friend when I'm hanging out by myself. So it's a weird thing. But it's not stress in the old way for me, which actually it's kind of like a break, kind of. If it weren't for all the things that I miss, like being able to go get nachos that are actually edible or, something. By the way, I want to make sure everybody, Trinity and you too, Abram, know that I have office hours during the day, right? so you can pop by and get questions answered, or we can go over different schools, Abram. So since you seem to have it.
Yeah, hold on, because I don't know why I didn't email it to you, but I've been asking everybody, because the other school that I was looking at, it's in Canada. It's on the west side, I think. I know I'm wrong, but I don't know if Vancouver's on the west or east side, but
Vancouver's on the west.
yeah, so it's near there. And I sent my counselor and my mom the just everything that was required. I gotta send it to you too. So let me find this email real quick.
Well, yeah, how you doing while Abram's signing stuff? Miss Ellison. Hello. Raven, are you with us?
Yes, I'm doing attendance stuff.
Oh, okay.
I've put Radford on the top of my list now.
Oh no.
Radford?
Now you.
Go
I'm sorry.
Highlanders,
That
man.
was bad timing. They released SAT scores. I don't know if I want to look at it.
You'll find out. What are you thinking about at Radford, Trinity?
We went to Radford last summer and I fell in love with it. And I really want to go to Radford now.
What you gonna study there?
I want to get a major in education with a minor in history.
Oh, history. Yeah, they do have a good history department there. And in fact, when I worked there, for a long time, but the last thing I did there was I was a tutor with student support services, and I had to tutor history. So I saw the stuff they were doing. It was fantastic. They had a good curriculum. They taught history the right way. And education, hey, it's one of the big four, right?
Yeah.
In Virginia.
You hyped up Radford so much, so I feel like it'd be wrong for it not to be at least on my list.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. Radford is a surprisingly good school if you play it right. And that doesn't sound like a huge endorsement, but it truly is. I mean, when I went there, the undergraduate stuff that I studied was tops in the state, as good as anybody. The graduate work I was doing was nationally ranked. So what the heck? It doesn't have the name, but it pulls it off a lot of the times. In education, Radford's as good as they come. I mean, unless you're Harvard or something. Seriously, I mean, in Virginia, it certainly is. So, not a bad call, man. So, Abram, what'd you find out, buddy?
Okay, I found it. Hold on.
Trinity, are you a senior this year, Trinity?
Yes, sir.
So are you gonna be at the SA or the FAFSA workshop?
When is it?
It is Monday. I've been sending out to everybody. I've been sending out email. Have you been checking your email?
No.
No, you haven't been checking your email. So you need to check it. And if you don't have anything, or if I've got the wrong email address, which means you didn't get it, then you need to email me and say, we need to make sure you stop by and at least talk about getting the FAFSA started. You too, Abram. You're going to be by Monday night?
Yeah.
5 to 8. You folks can come by too if they need to talk about doing it.
I found it.
Blah blah blah. Let me find the link here, because I has it.
Hold on. I don't know why I can't find your email isn't saved onto my computer, which kind of scares me.
Well, usually you get emails saved onto.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because you
your contacts, right?
It's not. What's your email again, Joe?
J Lyle, JLYLE @vt.edu.
There it is.
Here in the chat. I'm pasting. Paste. That is the Zoom address for the FAFSA workshop on Monday. Even if you aren't prepared to fill it out, and I hope you are, but even if you aren't, come by and let's make sure that You're on track, right? And yeah, let me put my email here too. That way you can just copy and paste. You know, I have a little Word file right beside my screen here that I've been copying and pasting things into. And I can't type and talk at the same time. I just found out. I probably made Melinda mad. I don't know if you saw me freak out at one point during her tour. I was sitting there, and I have to apologize to her. I feel bad about it. But I was trying to, I had her tour going here, and I have another screen right here, right? So I opened up the tour on the screen, and I was trying to run it here. You know, I was just kind of, and it had both the robot on her saying, as you see the new building, looky here, and this thing and that thing. And then another one was talking the same, a different something on my computer. And it was such a gibberish that I kind of flipped out and I had to turn it off. I'm like, ah. So hopefully that wasn't obvious and noticeable.
Now,
yeah, I'm not used to having a camera on me all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, as you know, I'm not this 4-year thing. I don't even want to go to school, honestly, music, but I know I need to for like 2 things. So like I'm not doing 4 years. Like 4 years that's not what I'm doing.
Well, you need music theory and you need to learn how to use the technology well.
Now music theory I've been working on by myself. I figured it out. I'm just doing certain parts by myself.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you got to figure out what you're doing. But the technology, it's I'm finding, Abram, with this whole situation we're in right now, I'm finding that I'm learning about movie making because I'm having to learn about movie making. And I'm glad, because I always wanted to know about it. Mm-hmm. So it's one of these, one thing leads to the other. The more you learn, and the more it puts you in a position to learn more. So yeah, don't limit yourself, man. Don't limit yourself. Learn the technology. That's the thing.
That's the thing of the that's why I'm going I forgot, why am I forgetting names? The program is called digital music production. So yeah. Everything that I'm learning within mixing and master, matter of fact, there's a whole list if I just scroll down. So everything that I'd be learning in this year would be electronic music production, music theory, recording and studio engineering, mixing and mastering, composing for film and music, business of music, and career planning, and that's it. All in that year.
Cool.
So, yeah. If you wanna, I think I sent it to you too, Raven. So, yeah.
Is that the one you just sent on?
Yeah, I sent one.
Okay. Okay. I'll check that out when I can leisurely scroll through.
Oh yeah, you're good.
So announcements. Well, of course, we're neither one of you are, none, Alia, you are, and I'll see you on Wednesday for the class. But you two haven't enrolled in the class. So if you are interested in robots class, we're talking about maybe starting another cohort in November. So if you want to learn some coding and robot-y stuff, that would be a good chance. Abram, quite honestly, learning to code JavaScript might be a very useful skill for you. This is a quick, down and dirty, easy way to do it. And if you take all 3 of the components of it, by the end of it, you actually do know how to code. So, and it's playing with, here it is. It's playing with this thing. It's got a robot inside of this glass, there we go, glass ball.
Wow.
And so it can run around, it can tell when you smack it, it can tell when it falls off of things. You can make it do complicated things. It will talk to you. You can put messages on the LEDs and have it flash and animate stuff. But the basics of it is you're learning loops and logic, and learning how to break things down into the components that make a behavior possible. And this is particularly interested in like music, where you're programming, different instruments, different times, setting the timing. If you can write JavaScript, you can probably come up with better ways of doing it, or tools to control what already exists so that you can make more elegant compositions, I would think. I know that's the way it was back in the day with C and other stuff. So might be a good way to learn it. And yeah, what about you with robots, Trinity?
Sorry. I love working with robots. I love working with robots. Interesting.
These are a lot of fun. Alia, are you back? You weren't there a while ago. Speak to us.
Okay. I'm so tired.
Tired? So what is going on? Are at any point are you are you guys actually in school at any point right now?
I'm in school all day. I don't leave. It's
You're in
normal.
school
I'm
all day?
in school on Thursdays.
What did you say, Trinity?
I'm in school Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, okay. And I've heard some people are in schools all the time and some not at all, and I don't know. And I thought Franklin County just closed down for a while. And I know Montgomery County was switching around. I know Radford's been all over the place, so. Yay. You guys wearing your masks, staying healthy, all that good stuff?
Yup.
Yeah. You wore a mask anyway, Abram.
Yeah, I wore. That's the thing. I kept telling people I wore a mask way before we were supposed to.
Yeah, you always had masks when we went on trips.
In 2016, and I still have them, and I have this whole collection. And then this thing started, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
Yeah, you wore them anyway, but Amy, my wife has made them. So I have all these basically designer masks with different colors, and like some of them are half and half different things, and it's
actually very easy to make them. It's just people are too lazy to do it sometimes.
I can't use a sewing machine. It ain't good. It just ain't good.
I'm figuring it out. I just bought a sewing machine not too long ago. I'm slowly figuring it out. It was a lot of getting pinned a lot. I got pinned a lot.
I just can't. It all turns into a wad of stuff.
Yeah, it's you gotta follow it.
And I'm angry then, and it's not good. But she can zip things right through. It's like water, zip, zip, and there it is.
You know how to,
is someone laying on you, or is that a background video, Trinity?
Are you talking to me?
Break it up.
Yeah, this is my friend. Say hi.
Get her some coffee and then.
Yeah, she didn't want to go to sleep last night, and she had to get up for work at 7 o'clock this morning.
Yikes.
One thing that I actually did want to ask is, the only way I get in for anything is if I audition or is if I have a portfolio. So I've been working on my portfolio. I've been working on that since the beginning of last year.
Yes, indeed.
Problem is, I don't know how to how should I do it? Cause at the moment I have all the files and stuff. It's should I do it beginning to what I have now, or should I make a whole PowerPoint of what I?
What I would do is I would make a think about a website. Okay. You could have a video of yourself doing some stuff. You could have examples of different things you have done, pieces. You know, there's different ways you could do it, and you know, that's something you could easily just send them a link and they could go check it out.
Actually, I might do that.
Yeah. Have you played with Spark at all? Adobe Spark?
A little bit. It was
The website part is hideous, but the video editor is really on point for something that simple. And the presentation-y stuff, some of that you can put together and then use it with voiceovers, animations, or music. But you can upload files on that one, I think. And even if you can't, you could edit the video there and drop it into the video editor and just put the music on top. There's a lot of stuff there. I would think about it, you know, start putting together a very simple portfolio.
I'll do that.
You want to make sure that your music, both conceptually, like I can do things that are like these beats and this thing, and I understand. You want to be able to demonstrate that, right? But you also want to put something together and say, look, and this is my music. this is what we're here for, right?
When because I was going through it, and when you go through like each one, it's nothing matches like nothing matches. Like it's the same, it's the same genre, but it doesn't sound like the same genre. Like for example, I made this one electronic beat, right? And then you go to the next beat, and then it's a hard trap beat, and then you go to the next one, it's a classical beat. And I'm just like, I didn't mean to outsource, but I outsourced a lot. It's just I don't know how, because like I'm American and they're not American, so I don't know how they'll react. But at the same time, American music is the world, so I don't know.
It's certainly a take on the world. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Keep working on the portfolio. I think one of the things about any performing art is there's really two components, and you have to think about this. One of it is just being a skilled person at producing what you're making, whether it's paintings, or whether it's produced music, or whether it's performance music, or whatever it is. You got to be good at doing that, right? But on the other hand, you've got to have the other skills you need in order to make that available. Because it's the responsibility of the artist to make it accessible. So that means you need to have the skills to connect it to the pop culture, you know, the music that's going on now, or the art that's going on now. But you also have to have enough basis, and well, and this even reflects back on, you know, whoever, you know, to tie it into what's already there. And you also need, like I was talking about, the technology to behind it. And don't hold back. I think that's the thing. A lot of people tend to hold back, and I think you got to present it way out there, you know. That's why I said, yeah, make a web page and just send it to everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Every person you can, put it all down there, and spare no anything.
Yeah.
Spare no anything. I saw something that was very encouraging to me that I didn't know the other day. It turns out that Leonardo da Vinci, in the last years of his life, ended up being commissioned by Louis the 15th. Somebody, one of the kings of France. Honestly, I wish I'd paid attention, because for the last 3 to 4 years of his life, Da Vinci lived in this palatial estate and did cool things for the king. And the king, who was young at the time, he was like in his 20s, and this old man were buddies and hung out, and he taught them all this stuff. And I thought, that's a cool thing. This is what an artist's life is all about. Not only did he do the things all along that he wanted to do, but finally he built the kind of reputation. So I think you got to start thinking about getting those appointments and building the reputation from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I think it's a plan. You're building a brand, right?
Yeah.
So it might be worthwhile, you know, you talk about school, it might be worthwhile looking into advertising and marketing, because it's all things that play into it.
Let me write this down.
It's like the kind of command you can get over subjects, you know. Genius and creativity, intelligence isn't a matter of learning things and puking it back out. That's where a lot of students have trouble. You know, in public schools, you kind of got to remember things and puke it back out. When you go into college, the idea isn't remember and puke. It's oh, I need a little bit of this and I need a little bit of that and I need a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you put it all together so that you make something else out of it, right? So yeah, if you think about music, it's all the things like we were talking about, the technology and the music theory and the performance ability and, you know, compositional ideas and that. But it's also the technology to be able to record and produce it, to put it out in a public forum. And then the advertising theory to make that so that people want to go look at it and listen to it and say, yeah, give this guy a job, you know, or give this guy a scholarship. So yeah, it's a lot of it there. But putting together those pieces from all over the place, that's college. That's what you need to do. That's what this point in life is about, I think, whether you're in college or not. You got to get the vision and work on it.
Well, like it's been weird because like all I've been doing, like this whole entire school year has felt weird because it's like, you know, school. I don't care what anybody says. School has been so easy to me, so it's like that's I don't even worry about school no more. So I've been working on music so much, and I've been like, not because I don't like to do one thing all the time. So I don't work on music all the time. So I'll go out with my friends, but it's like life has been very weird lately because like I'm doing this and then I'll stop doing this and I'll hang out with my friends, but I end up in weird situations with my friends, and then I'll come back and I'll go back to this, and that's like what I've been doing for the past like 8 months. So I don't know, my life, it feels weird because it's like this is what being a producer is like, and I'm actually living what being a producer is like, because anybody can really, but like it's a weird feeling that I'm actually doing this.
Abram, I think that's an important distinction that you made. The problem that a lot of people, I think, have with any kind of creative activity is they say, I'm going to be a whatever, not I am a whatever who's learning how to do it.
Yeah.
To say I'm going to be a rock star is much different than saying I am a rock star, I'm just learning how.
Yeah.
It doesn't require transformation at that point. It just requires skills.
Yeah, and the mentality of things that I have, and the reason why I'm not like I'm like, okay, the sentence I'm going to be big or I'm going to be no, I never say that. I'm gonna say it might happen, because like you can be successful and not be famous. You can, like, I could be the biggest mixing and mastering person in the world, but then again, nobody knows who that is. Like, nobody pays attention to like the big people. So for example, anybody's in like the most recent albums, like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Bruno Mars, people like them, nobody actually pays attention to like the people that are mixing, mastering, producing, but they get big money. So you can be successful, you just won't be known. And I'm okay with that. Perfectly fine.
It's actually preferred, I would think, because you don't get mobbed when you're in a crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you're still in with all the same thing.
I made a promise.
You just don't have to work during the shows.
Yeah.
You sit around backstage. Have your friends over, you know. It's
I'm keeping my, like, anytime I actually do perform and stuff like that, I keep my face hidden. I don't like people taking photos of me. It's weird.
Yeah, you know, for what it's worth, bands I've been in, I didn't ever show my face on anything at all.
Yeah.
I always had on dark glasses and a hat pulled down or from the side or shadow stuff.
I'm weird. I wear a white ski mask.
You're in a band?
Yes.
Have you got a group together right now? Or are you just, is it all solo work, Abram?
I'm okay. So I'm the only one doing music right now, but
Okay.
I wanted to outsource for music because like I like music, but music is not the only thing I like to do. So
Good.
I made a collective.
There you go.
So I was like, I don't want to just do music. And so I hit up my photography friend, and he takes photos of cars all the time. He takes the best photos. He gets expensive people with expensive cars and takes great photos. So I was like, we should do something. And he said, okay. And so we've been working on certain clothing and taking photos. And he likes to comment on my music and I like to comment on his photos. And sometimes we do get into fights, but sometimes we are right. So we don't fight all the time. We actually take the ideas that we have, we kind of just go off of it.
So why don't you get this guy to shoot your video?
I do.
Oh, okay, cool. So you've already got stuff. You've already got stuff for the webpage.
We've already shot a video, but it wasn't anything like it was just for us. We weren't doing it. It was just a random video that we shot. It was like a short film, but the film was like 3 minutes. So yeah,
Well, that's what you want, 3 to 5 minutes, right? Yeah. But are you familiar with any of the editors, by the way?
The film editor,
like movie maker, yeah.
Yeah. My
I mean, do you?
I don't know them by name, but yeah. I would say one of my favorite movies was by the why do I forget their name? They made The Matrix.
Oh, the Wachowski brothers or
yes.
sisters?
So they before they made
Wachowskis.
Well, it was like while they were making The Matrix, they worked on Speed Racer. And
I remember that, yeah.
And it's still one of my favorite movies. And the way that they like do everything and the way it was edited, because it's very like CGI. The whole movie CGI. So
I have to confess, I never got it. I never liked Speed Racer.
It's just
it's like
I get excited of how fast that car can go. I just like the car.
See, I like Dick Dastardly and that stuff. I
watched that as a kid too. Penelope Pit Stop and stuff.
Penelope Pit Stop. Anyway, Raven, what do we have anything else that we have not talked about? We're just blathering over here.
We are
Raven?
Not that I can think. I'm sorry, I'm still concentrating. Not that I can think of. I send out weekly newsletters to everyone. You covered the FAFSA meeting for the seniors and all that, so all is well.
Yes, I threatened them if they didn't show up.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right, guys, I'm gonna leave the room, and so are you.
Yeah, you're good.
Have a good weekend.
Seriously, Monday evening, pop by just for a few minutes, talk to me if nothing else. All right, and hopefully we'll have a chance for some like one-on-one. Do you have this specifically? Because we want to make sure everything goes smoothly. No matter where you go, it needs to be a smooth move, right? Okay. I'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thanks for coming to tutorial today.